everyone, Brienne here. So, over the last few days and the last couple of weeks, I have been asked by more and more coaches how I track my elite points. For those of you who have just started getting these emails, these are emails that are sent every month to Lifetime Diamonds and above, and they track your elite points. If you are shooting for Premier or Elite or Top 10, they also qualify you for leadership this year. So we get the emails once a month. They come on the second Friday of every month. And if you're curious how to earn elite points, I do have another video on my YouTube channel that you can watch about how to earn elite points. This is how we track them. So what I do is I actually had the idea from another elite coach. She had posted that she was tracking, and I asked her for some advice, and she was kind enough to share it with me. And I kind of took the idea that she had and changed it up a little bit. And so I track my points weekly on Thursday mornings after the week rolls over to kind of see where I'm at. So if you are wanting to track your elite points from now going forward, you'll need a couple of things. You'll need either a pen and paper, or I use whiteboards. I have 3 whiteboards set up in my office that I use to track my points on. You'll need a calculator. You'll need either whiteboards, or if you are a spreadsheet kind of person, you can do it all in a spreadsheet. I like to have everything written out in front of me. It makes it a little bit easier for me. I'm very much a numbers person. I'm very visual, so I need to have it all right in front of me. So you'll need your most recent elite email. You'll need your computer because you'll have to have a couple of windows open. This can kind of vary depending on the status of your downline, where you're placed, which windows you use. I use both the sponsorship drill down and I use the previous office view. So we'll kind of go over that, and that can just kind of depend on what you feel more comfortable with. So the first thing that I do is I check, and this is something that I check daily when I log into my online office and check the breaking news. I always check the Success Club points of my personally sponsored coaches and their personally sponsored coaches. We keep track of the whole team, but I count my obviously personally sponsored coaches for elite. So I check the drill down every day, and I have one section of my whiteboard that's got everybody that has Success Club points for the month written down, and then at the bottom of the board I just keep a tally how many hit it, in the previous months of the year. So that's the first thing, and that's what I check daily. You obviously could check it weekly. You could check it at the end of the month. Now that we have this wonderful tool in the back office that allows us to see our personally sponsored coaches' Success Club points from the previous month, which is fantastic because you always have people shooting the last couple of days of the month, and if those points don't register, you're always kind of like, oh no, did they hit it? So now we have that set in stone. So that was great that they got that up for us. So that's the first thing that I do. I do that daily. You could do that at any time during the month. But when I'm in there every day and I'm checking breaking news and stuff, I always will just take a quick peek over and see who's got points on the board. So that's the first thing I do. And then I accrue the points week by week. So on Thursdays, I kind of go over the points from the last week. So that's why I check Success Club either daily or a couple of times a week, and kind of note who has made Success Club thus far in the month. The second thing is the personally sponsored coach PV. This is something that I use the previous office view for, because I personally feel like it's easier for me to see them in that order. So if you go into your previous office view of your coach online office, you'll log into your Team Beachbody page and click on coach, and then click on previous office view. If you click on genealogy and on your personally sponsored report, you will be able to see a tally of all of your personally sponsored coaches by date. So I scroll through the pages till I get to the 2014 ones, and then I go to the week one, because I do it on Thursday mornings for the previous week. So I take that and I go through all of those coaches, and whatever their PV was, take my little calculator, I add it all up. And whatever it is, you basically divide it by 500. You count by 500. So if you went through your, today's Friday, if I had used it for last week and I wrote mine down, my coaches last week had 2,105 PV from my 2014 personally sponsored coaches. So that's 4 points with 105 that I'll carry over to next week. And if you don't know what your carryover is because you're just starting to track them now, just start at 0. And, sometimes I'm off by a point, on either way when the emails come out. But this way I kind of have an idea of where I should be. I kind of feel like a point is not going to make or break what I'm shooting for. So if I have a good ballpark and a good, idea of where I'm supposed to be, a point is pretty simple to make up, especially at this point in the year. So based on that, I had 2,105 PV. So I counted 4 points for last week, and I'll carry over 105 for, this week that we're in. Now, if you have a second business center, you'll have to count yourself, and then you'll have to go into the previous office view of your second business center and count your 2014 personally sponsored coaches out of that, and then obviously add them together and do this, do the same thing. So that's how I add that, and I do that once a week. As far as the ATV, this is a little tricky, and this is kind of where it depends on how your downline is structured, which way you prefer to do it. The best way to do it from now is to take your ATV from your elite email that came out this month and go from there. So I use the genealogy report in the previous office view. I am on an dead inside leg. So it's just me and my downline that's building. So for me to use the genealogy report is the easiest way to do it. If you are placed on a power leg, if you're having coaches placed within your organization that you personally did not bring in, they're not going to count for you for elite. The sponsorship drill down is probably going to be a better idea for you to use, because you don't have to weed through the lines of people that don't count for you for elite to add up your ATV. So I do the same thing on Thursdays. I go in, I open up the previous office view, I go to the genealogy report, and I take my little calculator and I start at the top and I just add it all up, and that's it. It's the personal volume of your personally sponsored coaches 3 levels down. So your personally sponsored coaches, they're personally sponsored and they're personally sponsored, or as Keyshawn gives it a better terminology, your kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. So I go through and I add them all up, and that's it. I mean, I add it to, I keep, on one of my whiteboards, I have, basically the results of my last elite email, what all my points were, what my ATV was, and then I just keep like a running tally week by week at the bottom of it, of what it should be. So I'll add it together, see if I get another ATV point. If I get one, I get one. If I don't, I keep that there for the next week. It's pretty simple. It took me a little while to figure out a way that worked for me. So what I do is I track them, and then I put what came on the email in one spot on the board, and then what's being added for the next month, I put kind of like to the outside of the box, so I can kind of see where I was, for June, and what I'm accruing for July, and is it, really where I want to be? Is it where I need to be? What do I need to work on? So I have one whiteboard that, like I said, has, our Tally of Success Club for our team. That also has the coaches on it that are pushing for Diamond, so we know where they stand. So that once they hit Diamond, they're going to start getting these emails and figure out, do they want to push for Premier or Elite? Is this something that they're looking to do? So we have a running tally of that. I have another board that has all the aggregation of the 500 PV for your personally sponsored coaches. So that has those numbers on it. And then I have a third board that I use, that it basically has all of my personally sponsored coaches listed by leg. So we have, you know, the coaches, the ones who are pushing for emerald or pushing for diamond, the current diamonds, they're divided up by colors. You know, if their name is in green, they're emerald. It kind of gives me a way to see where everybody is and what everybody is shooting for. So as they're trying to push, I can kind of see it a little better. So I have one board, it has my first business center, my second business center, and my husband's business center on it. And it's got all of our personally sponsored coaches. And it's just laid out. Like I said, I'm a very visual person, so this is a little bit easier for me to see. So that's it. That's how I track my elite points. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them below, like the video. Share it with your teams. If anybody has questions, by all means, please message me. I'm happy to help anybody who would kind of like it broken down a little bit better. If you'd like to see my whiteboards, I'm happy to share them. But I'm making this video on my iPad, so I can't really flip the screen and come back and forth. So if anybody has questions, please feel free to ask. I'm happy to help anybody who is looking to make this process a little bit easier and not have to just rely on the once a month emails. So I hope this helped you guys. Have a great night and good luck pushing for elite.